I played tennis with my brother every week for the last couple of months now. My brother is a very interesting fella. He goes through these cycles in his life where he is very motivated and driven to achieve a physical result. He'll train for a marathon out of the blue, and then he'll do this half marathon, and he won't run at all. And then he'll have this idea, and then 6 weeks later, he'll train like a banshee, and then he'll go do the thing. And he's in this state of perpetual pudginess, I would say. Like, he's probably 35% body fat. So floating around, that kind of unhealthy level, but he's still mobile. So when we go play tennis, it's a good time. We have a lot of fun. But I've seen him do this cycle so many times over the last 15 years where it's like, oh, I'm going to run this race. I'm going to do all this work. And then he sabotages himself right afterwards. For whatever reason, he put in all the hard work. He cast the vote for the type of person that he wanted to be. He went and did the hard thing. He ran the race, and then immediately he falls off the bandwagon. And even while he's moving towards his goal, once he realizes that he's going to hit it, he starts sabotaging himself. He starts drinking a lot. Well, he never really stops drinking a lot, but he starts drinking even more. He starts doing all sorts of really dumb stuff that just shoots himself in the foot. And I share that because my brother's not unique. We all do this. The number one thing that stands in our way of unleashing or realizing our greatest potential is our own self-sabotaging behaviors, our own fears around success that stop us from continuing to do the things that we know we should do that would move us forward. There comes a point where we know, if I continue on this trajectory and things keep going good and I keep doing the work, I'm going to break through the ceiling and I'm going to be on that next level. And you would think that's what most people want, but the reality is that's not what you want. You do not want that because humans are stability-seeking creatures. Your biology does not want you to burst through to that next level. It does not want you to move towards your greatest. And I'm going to share with you two different frameworks here that are incredibly powerful for understanding why this is. This is from the book Thinking in Systems by Donatella Meadows. I mentioned this book a couple of weeks ago in a different video that I did. This book is all about understanding systems and systemized thinking. There are two types of systems that I want to share with you today. The first is what's called a balancing feedback loop, and the other is a reinforcing loop. Now, a reinforcing feedback loop is what happens when the asset, the resource that you have, compounds unto itself and leads to either exponential growth or runaway collapse. Example, you put money into a bank account. That is the asset. That is the stock, as we would say in systems thinking. That money in the bank account earns interest. Depending on the interest rate, more money comes into that stock. So we have $100 in there, 10% interest rate. Now 10% goes in there. If we put more money in there, then more interest comes into there. And so this thing grows unto itself. So that next month, the principal plus the interest, that now compounds. That's compounding interest. And on a long enough curve, this gets like this crazy hockey stick growth. The reverse can also be said, though. Things that deteriorate the stock, increase the deterioration of it. And this is why we say the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. It's a reinforcing feedback loop that people are operating in within that paradigm. Now, the second loop, and this is the more important one that I want to talk about for the purposes of today, is the idea of a balancing feedback loop. And this is why you are where you are and not where you want to be. This right here, this one idea. So the idea of a balancing feedback loop is that you have your stock, you have this asset, and there is something in the system that is observing the status of that stock, that asset, and is then triggering a response to maintain the status quo. Example, the stock would be the temperature in the room, 72 degrees in here. The goal is to keep it 72 degrees. So now we have a thermostat setting. That is our goal. We set it at 72 degrees. The thermostat then tracks the temperature in the room. So if the temperature goes up to 73, there is now a response mechanism in the air conditioning kicking on and cooling the room down to 72. If the temperature goes down to 71, the thermostat tracks it and says, now I need to turn on the heat, bring it back to 72. This is a balancing feedback loop. There is a goal, which is to keep the room at a certain temperature. And then there is the means for tracking that goal, which is the thermostat settings. And then there is the response mechanism, which is the furnace or the AC. You have this in yourself, in your own life right now. You have a dollar amount financially that is set for whatever reason in your mind as the baseline is the normal. Anything above that is honky-dory gravy, would be nice to have. In fact, you might even tell yourself it's the thing you want most. And yet, once you get to a certain level of comfort, your thermostat kicks in, it regulates, and it brings you back to the baseline that you consider normal. And the reverse of that is if you overspend 1 month or 2 months and you go, ooh, I'm in the red now, I don't like that. That's not in my normal range. The balancing loop kicks back in. You work harder, you make the extra calls, you grow the business, you get it back to where you want to go. This is the reason entrepreneurs stay stuck at the level they are stuck at, whether that's $10,000 a month, $100,000 a month, $3 million a month. The reason, if you are not moving and growing your business, is because you have a balancing feedback loop that has kept you locked into that place. And the reason for this, the reason you are doing this is because you do not believe you are worthy of the thing you're going after. And therefore, you do not take the actions on what needs to be done to get you there. You do not think, if you're at $10,000 a month, you do not believe you are worthy of $50,000 a month. And therefore, you do not take the actions on growing your business. You don't make the calls. You don't stay up late. You don't work on the marketing. You don't sit down with the customers and deliver excellent results. You phone it in to the 10,000 level because you don't believe you're worthy of, you don't take the actions on. And discipline is nothing more than a reflection of your own self-worth. You don't believe you're worth that higher temperature or that lower temperature, whichever one you prefer. You don't believe you're worthy of it. And so you stay in that box, in that paradigm, and you will stay locked in that paradigm. It does not matter how many YouTube videos you watch about this next marketing trick, this next sales thing. It does not matter. If you are already making money in your business, listen up. If you're already making money in your business, you already have everything you need to make more. You just need to do more of it. You already have it. So it's not a function of needing new information. That's not going to change anything if you don't change your paradigm, your structure, the framework in which you're operating, and you don't change the balancing mechanism. As long as your thermostat is set at 72, you're going to stay at 72. Now, I don't know how you're going to go about changing that. If you want help with that, I suppose, drop something down in the comments below and I'll see what I can do for you. I might have some ideas, but that's the idea I want to share with you guys today. See you guys in the next episode.